Hi again. I'm so excited to be back. It's been a while. I'm finally going to go back to dentistry, and I'm going to start off with something that seems basic at first, but I've been learning a lot about it, learning my entire career. I'm a general dentist, and I've been one since 2007, so here we go. Let's launch right into it. First of all, there's no one perfect way. It is dependent on your gingival biotype. What do I mean by that? I mean by dentists, you'll know what I'm talking about, hygienists too, but for everyone else who hasn't gone to dental school or dental hygiene school, what I mean by thick or thin gingival biotype is if you look in your mouth and you pull your lips up like this and you go into your mirror and you look at your teeth, and if you have recession around the gum line, around any of your teeth, like I do, I have a recession right here, and I'm gonna get a gum graft, not to cover the roots, but to just prevent more attachment loss. You probably have a thin gingival biotype. A thin gingival biotype is someone who has a lot of scalloping between their teeth and it's very fine and lacy. If you have a thick gingival biotype, you have a plentiful amount of something called attached keratinized gingiva, which is that really stuck down gum around the gum line, and it's got lots of little tiny little like pores on there called stippling. So that's great for you. I'm jealous. So I wish I could commoditize attached gingiva. It'd be great. So now if you have a thick gingival biotype, you can use a toothbrush like the Sonicare. You can use a variety of toothpaste. You can go crazy. You can do whatever you want. But if you have a thin gingival biotype that's prone to recession, you want to be careful with the toothbrush that you select. So I really like this new toothbrush that I discovered it from my local Seattle study club. My periodontist recommended it, and she buys it wholesale from the company, but you can buy them on Amazon. They're about $5 for $15, so it's very comparable to a retail toothbrush and highly superior in technology. And without any further ado, it's called the Nimbus. I took one out of the bag. The Nimbus, like the cloud. And this is extra soft micro. They have bristles that are very beautifully tapered and narrower, much narrower than your typical toothbrush that you buy from the drugstore, and much softer. Now, this toothbrush has completely changed dentistry in terms of preventing attachment loss, which is recession. So the best way to prevent further attachment loss, as well as the best way to mechanically remove plaque, as I've recently learned, and actually had to talk about it with my periodontist who educated me about it, and is to start out your hygiene without toothpaste. Yeah, you heard me. We'll get to those other stuff later. So you do something called dry brushing your teeth. Dry brushing your teeth is when you just take your dry toothbrush and you just brush your teeth with it. And then, see, this is what's actually going to cause the most plaque removal and will be the cleanest for your teeth. And dry brushing is not the most refreshing, so you can and should follow up with toothpaste later. More on toothpaste in a second. So I have this thing here. I was going to demonstrate my hygiene routine to you, but there's parts of it that might look a little inappropriate, so I decided to use a model. So when you brush, oh, I put it in my mouth already. I'm going to pretend. So you got to make sure you contact your gums. You know, really make an effort to angle the brush toward the gum line, because that's what you're also stimulating. You're stimulating increased circulation to the gingival area. You're removing plaque. And the reason why you want to start out with dry brushing, and I've tried this, I love it, especially, you know what I'm talking about, when you get that plaque like that on here. So annoying. You get it scaled off at the dentist and you're like, yay! And then 3 weeks later, it's back again. Well, how do you keep it from coming back? You dry brush. And then the way that you should dry brush your lower front teeth on the backs, especially where it all builds up, is you turn your brush this way and then you brush like this. That's how you should do that. And my periodontist actually is so OCD. She has a separate Nimbus for her top teeth and another one for her lower teeth. You don't have to do that. So the reason that you want to dry brush, first of all, is because the toothpaste and water, combination of toothpaste and water, produces a sort of gelatinous effect, and it just slides across the plaque. It doesn't mechanically remove it that well. So you want to start out with dry brushing. Okay, now, of course, it doesn't feel very minty fresh, so you want to follow it up with toothpaste. Now, Toothpaste now promise a lot of things: extra whitening, extra whitening, extra whitening breath and everything, you know, promises to change your life. Well, that's all an illusion. Toothpaste that really promise a lot, like, you have to be really careful. It's some of you guys we look in your mouth and you can see kind of like these notches along the gum line on your teeth. Those are called non-carious cervical lesions. And that's basically toothpaste that's causing a sort of sandpaper effect, and you're brushing like this. It's not the toothbrush, it's the toothpaste. So when you buy toothpaste, you have to consider the amount of abrasiveness that there is in the toothpaste. And how you determine that is you Google it. You say, what is the relative dentin abrasiveness of my toothpaste that I'm choosing? And you'll actually pull up like in the image search of a graph, and it'll say an abrasiveness factor of 150 or more is way too abrasive. It's like sandpaper. And it will cause recession, and will cause bits of your teeth to chip off, and you just won't notice it because it happens over time. And then you have to go to the dental in the office, and then they have to fill it for you, and it costs money. But then really the least abrasive toothpastes are also on that graph. And then actually the most beneficial and least harmful toothpaste is baking soda. Baking soda has a relative dentinal abrasiveness index of like 1. It's like next to water, and it's only $1, or maybe $1.25. So you wet your toothbrush and you put a little baking soda, and then you brush with that. Oh, it's so easy, and this would last you forever. Oh my goodness. So baking soda, how about that? It's used for so many things. I love baking soda. I dump a box in my bath when I run out and when this gets expired, and I bathe in it. It's great. So baking soda, who would have thought? Okay, now, oh, here we go. If you're gonna have to use toothpaste, you gotta use toothpaste. You can't get around it. Forget the commercials or whatever you think you've seen where they just put like just a bunch of toothpaste like this, where it's like this. Don't do that. First of all, you're wasting it. And second of all, toothpaste is part soap, and you're just gonna make your mouth all foamy, and and it's not gonna do anything except to give you the illusion that your mouth feels fresher. So it says to use a pea-sized amount for children, but really adults should use a pea-sized amount too. Like, they only do that because it looks pretty on TV. You bet you didn't know that, did you? Now, floss. I could do a whole other video on floss, so I'm gonna wait. Never mind. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Oh, you know, the thing that we need to really talk about is the tongue. So, flossing is great and all, and I'll go over flossing and flossing substitute in a subsequent video, but what you really need to watch out for is brushing your tongue. You can brush your tongue with your brush, or you can brush your tongue with an actual scraper like I do. This is one that's made out of copper. It was like $5, and then you really stick your tongue out and you really scrape it, okay? Every time you do this. And your tongue should look like this. Like your tongue should look like the tongue of a newborn kitten, like uniformly pink. If your tongue has a layer of white or gray or brown, if your tongue does not look light pink, you got a problem. Like, you either have geographic tongue, or maybe you have some fungus or something, because a lot of bacteria lives on your tongue, and that's kind of the bad breath element. I mean, you could brush your teeth so the cows come home, but if you don't brush your tongue, you're not going to remove hardly any of the smell. Sorry, it's the truth. So it's going to make you gag, and it's not going to be easy either when you first start, but once you start doing it, it's going to become a habit, and we'll talk about that in just a moment too. So we reviewed a lot of this today, so I am going to, by the way, I don't like the fact that Tom's wicked cool. Why does it have to say wicked? Like, children are using this. You need to put another, you need to just say just cool. Just say that. Or something else. This sends, I don't like that. I don't even know why I have this. Oh, because it has a low dentinal abrasiveness. But I also use baking soda. So this, I just have this before I discovered baking soda. So I'm sharing all this new knowledge with you. All right, I gotta stop. we gotta do another video. Otherwise, it's gonna go on way too long. You might be wondering, I have a Sonicare. I have an electric toothbrush. 36,000 brush strokes per minute, doctor. Yes, so shouldn't this be enough? Yes, it's good. Good. That's great. But however, the Sonicare toothbrush, as well as some other, but notably the Sonicare, which is the most popular, has been shown to cause gingival recession, which is where your gum line kind of starts to sink and then upwards or downwards, depending on which arch you're talking about. And then and once you get gum recession, it doesn't grow back. Okay, so beware the Sonicare. So I already had the Sonicare. Now what? The Sonicare technology has improved greatly since the first technology came out back in the, I don't want to date myself. And I remember it wasn't that great. However, it's gotten better. So what do? I have thin gingival biotype. So I start out by not turning it on. And I turn it this way. And then also don't forget to brush with your mouth. I dry brush with my Sonicare. And then for the sections of my teeth that don't have a lot of recession or are not prone to recession, then I turn it on and I use it on the lowest setting. I also don't constantly charge my Sonicare because it starts to make the base really gross and gets that nasty toothpaste cake on there. Ugh. And then I just charge it when it's needed and I keep it nice and clean otherwise. The other thing I don't really like about the Sonicare is that it's hard to travel with because you have to disengage the head all the time, and that it's really hard to keep this connection clean. I mean, there's just no way you can get in the nooks and crannies in there. So I'm not super thrilled about that. It's really, it's just not a great design. Finally, if you're gonna try to reach the back teeth better, you need to keep your mouth a little bit more closed. So when your mouth is really open, you have like a really hard time in there. You feel like it can't move around that much on this side or on this side. But then if you keep your mouth a little closed like this, you can really maneuver around the backs of the teeth. So there's that. Let's see, forgot and then remembered and forgot. You done with chicken? Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. I have to go eat dinner.